The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom.
What is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and you are live with me on my live stream platform here on Facebook. No title to this show. This is more of an open forum, and I want to talk a lot about spirituality tonight and what is living a spiritual life. Now, I think that this is a very important question because the way that I have been experiencing, I don't know how to describe it, but the transformation in my own life as a spiritual personality, and also how I live a normal life as well. And is it okay to live a normal life and a spiritual life? I think that's a super important question to bring up. I think that's a super important question to talk about. We are live tonight on Facebook, so I am here to answer all of your questions. It was really cool last night when we did the Astro Buzz. We were able to link the live chat to this actual live broadcast, which was really fun, and a lot of people liked it. Tonight, I actually have something new for you all. Tonight, I am doing, I'm going to have some fun. I have the Cosmic Watch up. It's a cool app that I've got, and it shows the planets in 3D. So tonight, we'll talk a little bit about the astrology, showing you how the Tropic of Capricorn and Cancer work, and just showing you the ecliptic and the understanding of why the 13th sign is bogus with astrology. So that could be something else we could do for fun. This is actually the exact clock for what's happening right now, and I can turn some of this stuff off. I think we have a little bit too much going on here with the celestial rings, the planet names we don't need. Sometimes you can get a little bit too overwhelmed on this thing. But it's a super cool app. If you haven't found it, it's like $2.99, but it is awesome, and it does a full, real ecliptic astrology and really puts the planets where they are in the 12 signs of tropical astrology. So I think that's something really fun to talk about and look at today. But it's called Cosmic Watch. People are asking about what's going on. I also want to talk about the Cubs curse. So if I get time tonight, I want to dive into the Cubs chart real quick. The Cubs are in the playoffs, if you don't know. There's been curses on the Cubs since 1969, 1945. And will the Cubs break their curse? Can they make it to the World Series? Can they win a World Series? Can they actually break this kind of stigmata that's been on them? I think that's kind of an interesting talk. I do love baseball. People might not realize, but that is one of my favorite sports. On my PlayStation, the only game that I ever play, and I have a lot of games, is baseball. And I play against other people online, if you didn't know. So that's kind of a little fun little thing about me. But we are in the chat room. I'd love to speak with you and talk with you. And let's start with the spiritual life thing first. And I think this is so important because in my position, of course, I put out spirituality on the internet, whatever you want to call it, on my app. I go on television with it. So of course there is a persona built upon spirituality. And I think that's super important to, for me to go with and to live with and be part of, is representing myself in a spiritual way. But I believe that there is a stigma attached to being a spiritual personality that, it's almost like you can't live a normal life. I had a comment from somebody recently, and actually it was today, questioning my motives about, my entertainment show, Astro Buzz, and how I'm not living in a spiritual life by doing that show. And it's interesting because I actually feel for a priest, or I feel for a bishop, or I feel for any spiritual figure, especially more attached to a more church-like system, let's say, and how, your whole life's dedicated to God, but it's almost like, there's rules and there's also stigmas around being the kind of person that you need to be. I think we're seeing it too with the president, like, there's this stigma of how you got to be with the president. And I think both roles of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton don't fit either one. So it's an interesting topic, and it's an interesting conversation, because I think at the end of the day, it's very difficult for people to step into a spiritual life and run with the subconscious. And I did a full presentation about this, if you watch my movie, about a subconscious religious / worldly subconscious issue about how to live. And of course, this gets very complicated because I believe there's a basement to this floor. Like, there are things like, I definitely don't think you should murder somebody. And I definitely, there's a lot of things at the basement that you just do not cross. There are boundaries to it. But there are also, I think, more wide open space than is allowed when it comes to living a spiritual life. Like, part of being a spiritual life is being yourself, being your beauty of who you are, expressing yourself the way you are, and not suppressing that. And staying within your limitations, staying within certain boundaries, and knowing what those boundaries are. And I don't think the world or even humanity really, I think, fully knows what those boundaries are. I think there's an inner guidance system that inside yourself knows when you have a deep connection with God, when you have a deep connection with the universe, when you have a deep connection with your angels, that is what you run off of. Christians run off the Bible, and they use the Bible. And spiritual people can use, there's a lot of different forums, but there's, I think, your inner guidance system, connecting with your guides, your meditation, or doing yoga, or just doing things that get you in a really good place. And I think that's very important. And I think it's important to have a really solid structure when it comes to the kind of spiritual life that you live. But it also cannot restrict, and I want to make this one very clear, it cannot restrict the life that you want to live and the persona that you want to be. Because I think that could affect you so, it's like a vampire not getting blood. Now, I know that's kind of a harder analogy, but, we all are human beings here to experience a wonderful and a fun and a beautiful life. And you can be a spiritual persona and still, like in my case, be a DJ and still be an entertainer and comedian who might rub the edges of circumstances. But at the end of the day, that doesn't change that deep spiritual message or that compassion of the work that I want to do or some other spiritual person wants to do and helping others. I think that this is a very, very important conversation. I think it's one of the most important conversations in spirituality, because as more and more people become, whether you want to call it spiritual or whether you want to call it stepping into their spiritual power and helping the world and helping the universe and helping people get to this higher consciousness, or as the Pleiadians would say, or even just anybody towards the light, towards the way, same way that Jesus would have, or any other of the messiahs. is this conversation is so important because if you want to look at Jesus, you want to look at any Messiah, or you want to look at anybody, spiritual, there's been this kind of like, put it out there like I'm this way. But I mean, behind the curtain, you're picking your butt and smelling it, you're picking your booger and tasting it. There's this kind of like reality check that I think we all need to live by. There's this, you're going to be masturbating at home, like, come on. Like, there's realistic things here, folks. And people live in this real life, and spirituality has put this stigma, just like religion has. Now I believe that religion does a great job of creating what the boundary lines are. Unfortunately, I don't think they give you much space. They give you a really tight box that you're stuck in a very wide universe. And I think that that's extremely important to pay attention to. Somebody just said that they're not getting any sound. I would definitely check your connection, because we got perfect streaming going on here and good sound. People in the chat room, let us know how the sound and everything is going, as we are live right now. We are having one person having a problem out there. Somebody says, I need to update HON. I don't know what that is. People are having problems with sound. A lot of people are saying great sound. Over on my end, it says actually here in my studio, you can actually see at the bottom corner, I have multiple screens here. It says perfect streaming. We're not even on a bad stream at all. It's like beautiful. So I would say it's your own internet you got to check out. So I just wanted to bring that up, that you can, and this goes outside spirituality. I want to be really honest with everybody. This goes way outside of it. Being a cool, fun, loving person is so important in the world. And don't let people, organizations, or anything try and inhibit that in some way or make you feel bad for being the beautiful person you are inside. You have your own internal guidance system. Your IGS. I just framed it right now. You got to check your IGS, yo, because that IGS is always on target. And that IGS, if you're in the positivity and if you're in love and you're in a good energy, it'll let you know. It's not that hard. When you walk up to a situation and somebody wants to put a gun in your hand and say, let's go into this room and kill all these people and take the cocaine and into the hotel, kind of Scarface style, I'm sure your IGS is saying, no, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, it's pretty, you know what I mean? Your IGS works, folks. Your internal guidance system is what works. And if you're in that space and if you're connected with God in a beautiful way, then it will go great for you. So I don't want to go too long on this subject, but I just really feel that with the political aspect that's been going on, with me making some changes to the Leo King, and with other things that I'm just seeing around, people really, there's two sides right now. There's people who are just wide open and real and accepting faults and knowing that we're all not perfect. And then there's this other side that just will only accept perfection and only accept things a certain way, and that's it. And I think that this has to deal with I don't know if it'll actually show it in here, so we'll go actually to the computer for the astrology, but is this south node, north node in Virgo Pisces. Now, with Neptune and Pisces, I think it's so important for everybody to realize, like, this is that time where compassion is being learned in all areas. Segregation especially, because every time Neptune enters Pisces, we deal with the biggest segregation. In the 1690s, when Neptune was in Pisces, we dealt with the witch trials. In the 1850s, we dealt with the segregation and the Civil War mounting up. The Civil War actually started at the last degree of Neptune and Pisces and the first degree of Aries, but in 1864. But you have to realize, like, we are going through a huge segregation role. And I think it's interesting when we go through this segregation right now in politics, in the world, in religion, and in ways that there's a side that will only take it one way. And then there's another side of people that are really, like, real, open, accepting, and compassionate for however you are. We're all not perfect. Now, like I bring up, there is an internal guidance system and there is boundary lines that, sure, a lot of us should not cross. And I think that there's a sixth sense that we all have as humans that allows us to really not get lost over those boundary lines. I mean, it's very clear. Like, I remember when I was a kid and I did something wrong, like if I hopped that fence and, and somebody handed me spray paint. This is back in the day when tagging was big. It was like, I know it was wrong. Like, I threw that spray paint down and got out of there and never did that again. You know what I mean? Like, that just felt bad. It didn't feel right. It's not like humans are built without it. Humans are completely built with it. And I think that's where the spiritual work is to just be a positive influence on the world and to those around you and live in this world in a very positive and great way. And I think that if you follow your internal guidance system, you will be fine. And I'm going to drop the subject there, but that was one of the big conversations of tonight. Now, looking at the cosmic watch, I wanted to show you all. Look at this. So let's bring it up. Let's bring it out. And let's look at this. So we've got Capricorn right here in front of us, the sign Capricorn, okay? I wonder if it won't let me. I guess we could go up. But you can see there's Mars right there, and there's Pluto right next to it. Mars and Pluto this week are getting ready to come together. So this could be a very volatile time, but this is also going to be major life and death things. Now, don't get freaked out. This doesn't mean that this is life or death literally, although it sometimes can, but situations are finally about to reach if they're going to really go the distance or not. There's going to be major lines drawn in the sand coming up here because of this alignment of these two. Now, these two are very powerful. What's interesting, if we look over, here's Saturn in Sagittarius. You can see Saturn's halfway through Sagittarius. We got another year of that going on. Venus is right here, the morning star. You can actually see it. It's this beautiful star right here. That's what that evening star, is right now. And see, it's right now in Scorpio, about to move into Sagittarius, which is a really positive sign and a really good space. But I really want to remind people that, this Mars-Pluto thing is not over. I'm kind of surprised overall if I think about the elections, and especially if I look at what's happening with the debates. The next debate's in 10 days, and this Mars-Pluto energy will have already finished. So it's hard to make predictions like this, but, this is the most volatile time kind of coming up, and it was last night, and it could have been worse, and I think the next debate could be worse, but I don't think it will be as worse, just for the fact that we do have the full moon happening this weekend. We do have Mars and Pluto coming out. And so overall, I think, I think it could have all been way worse, to be honest with you. So people want me to point out the planets. I mean, I'm looking at them dead on. It's Mars and Pluto right here. See them? I will bring it even closer. See how they are right here? They are about to conjunct this week. And this is in the sign of Capricorn, where Mars is at its favorite place to be. It's kind of hard to show the Capricorn unless I back out and look at. There's Capricorn right there. And so Mars and Pluto are about to come together. You could see that in the Earth view right there. They are close. They haven't been this close in a couple years. It takes 2 years for Mars to come around and hit Pluto. So if we look at the last time Mars conjuncted Pluto, we could look into the past and we can have some fun. Let's go to 2014. Mars was in Sag, approaching Pluto, exactly 2 years ago today. And Mars and Pluto exactly conjuncted on November 9th, 2014 and November 10th of 2014. Now, that was a very hard time because there was Mercury, the Sun, Venus, and Saturn, and we had just gone through 2 weeks prior, a solar eclipse, and the lunar eclipse had just happened. And that was a very harsh time for people in their lives. So it's interesting to see that this week, over the next week, if we actually now move back the years, let's go forward to, 2 years. Let's go back on the days. Now, Mars and Pluto are hitting on the 19th, which is a Wednesday. Is that the day of the next debate? Oh, man, it is, actually, I think. So maybe that next debate is going to be crazier than we think it is. I thought actually 10 days. Wow, yeah, in my head. Mars and Pluto exactly conjunct exactly on the next debate. With the moon in Gemini, that's going to be the kapow. Wow. I thought actually Mars and Pluto were conjuncting closer than that. I just wasn't doing the math. Good thing I'm doing the math tonight. That is going to be one serious kapow. And there it is, folks. See that Mars-Pluto right there? Now let's see if we can change the time. No, it won't let me. But look at those two. They are about to come together. And when you get that, folks, that is a very intense, gnarly position, and it's a build-up for the next 10 days. So there's a lot to look at when it comes to that. So I'm going to do some things to look up the things about the Cubs. I also want to load the chat room up to the live stream. So give me a second. I'm going to throw a minute commercial your way. Thank you. You're watching the Leo King live on Facebook, and I'll be with you in 1 sec.
Wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.
And I feel that hope has been really shitty on the planet. To reach heaven or into the heavens of God, what the hell is going on? What's going on? To have the right perception. Hope in the desert to me is the hope that people are going to be willing to really just pay attention to their own research and make a decision, whatever it might be, to just bring to that place of oneness. Because that's the trajectory, that's the destination. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here on my awesome live Facebook channel. And now it's time to talk about the Cubs. You know, I think it's really interesting because the Cubs really have had this curse going on. And I just think it's been the weirdest thing going on when it comes to just life right now. Not only do we have Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton running for president, but the Cubs actually might win the World Series. Vin Scully has left the Dodgers. I mean, what kind of world are we in? Sorry, I mean, I'm bringing sports into all this, but I think it's kind of interesting to really, if we look at everything and what's going on how the Cubs and this crazy rumor / curse. Nobody ever believed that they could ever get here. They're getting there. They're not there yet. At the same time, nobody ever believed that Hillary Clinton could become president or a woman can become president. And at the same time, nobody ever could believe that Donald Trump could ever become a presidential candidate and actually become president. All three stories show you the energy and the time. And I mean, I'll be honest, I never would have ever believed that I could have an astrology live show and have all these people watch this and talk about astrology and sports and politics and fun and horoscopes and all that. I mean, that's happening at the same time. So kind of interesting way to put it. But I do think that it's an important story. So when we look at the Chicago Cubs, looks like they are still playing right now. And it is the bottom of the 8th. They're almost there. Now, the Cubs have a chance to go to the World Series, but they do have a curse. And if you don't know about the curse, here's a little bit of the story about the curse. In 1945, there was this investor who wasn't allowed into a game, and he kind of put the whole curse on everything. Then in 1969, a black cat came across the dugout and kind of made them not win. Now, so they have this kind of weird curse going on. But this is a non-Chicago Cubs fan's guide to why the Chicago Cubs are cursed. Now, I mean, there are many different aspects of why they're cursed. At the end of the day, they're just cursed. Now, my question is, if the Cubs have an astrology chart, that's, the big thing. Looks like we got somebody here. Nope. Okay, considering 2008 marks the 100th anniversary of the Cubs' last World Series championship, Cubs fans have been looking to the heavens for some sign for help. Okay. I want a date. People are not, it's not giving me a date. Maybe I got to look on Chicago Cubs. $1870. That's a long time ago, people. It doesn't give a month, but let's do this. Let's have some fun. This is going to be the funnest part, is let's look up 1870. All right, I got us down for 1870 here. Now, the one thing about the baseball is it usually starts in the spring. So let's bring it to like that March, April time. April, March. They have Saturn in Sagittarius, so they're having a Saturn return. Pluto was in Taurus. They are having a Pluto trine happen. They were also born with Uranus in Cancer, which is being opposed by Pluto. And they are also having a Uranus square Uranus, which already probably finished for them. So it's kind of interesting to look at this chart. The main thing is the Saturn return at the same time that Pluto's opposing their Uranus, while at the same time Uranus was just finishing squaring it. And the way that I've always done astrology, folks, is especially with outer planets like Pluto or Uranus, and when they have major transits to them, especially like this Uranus transit for them, like they have Uranus in Cancer. They also have the North Node conjunct Uranus, maybe. I mean, this is 1870, so they definitely do. They're supposed to be the weirdos and kind of be a breakthrough team. Now, Saturn was in Sagittarius in 1870. Saturn's in Sagittarius now, as we were watching in the clock. Oh, hold on. We lost our cosmic clock here. Here it is. So we got Saturn in Sagittarius, right? Same exact placement it was when 1870 happened. So they're having a Saturn return. They're finally getting older. This would be a good sign for me. Now, I don't know their exact aspects, so I can't give the best 100% call. But I guarantee you they will probably make it to the World Series. But they are very unpredictable. They do have Uranus in a weird spot, but it looks like Pluto's opposing it. It does look like, I mean, could even be next year because it's a late Saturn. Could even be next year. Could even be that this year kind of pumps them up and next year kind of sends them to the new way. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see all this. But I think that that's what's interesting. But the Cubs to me have been an interesting aspect because of what's going on with them. They're, a lot of people are watching. I'm rooting for them, and I'm a Dodger and an Angels fan, and I'm rooting for them. I am not a San Francisco fan. Sorry, even though I'm a Cali boy. But, I'm rooting for these guys because I kind of feel like I think it'd be really cool to see the Cubs win. I do. I think it would be awesome. But it's just to try and figure out the astrology of this it's not been easy at all. And I actually want to see if they're winning still. Yeah, it looks like they're still winning, bottom of the eighth. I actually did try to load up the game that I have on my Fox Sports on my phone to load it up and show people here, but it's not loading. But, we'll see how they do. But, I think what's more important now is I do want to take some questions from people. And I'm going to load up the chat room right now and put it up so people can see Let's do that right now. I'm here to answer your questions right now. People are liking that we're talking about the cubbies. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's pretty awesome to even be talking about them, looking at them. I just think I'm rooting for them. I feel like we live in a world where I think it's time for things to change and for a team like that to change, Somebody asked, how does Mars and Pluto affect the Dean? What's the Dean? Am I missing something? What's a Dean? Affect the Dean. I don't know what that means, so we're going to get off that one. People are saying relationship stuff, please. Well, with Mars and Pluto finishing in 10 days here, and more importantly, Venus transit finishing in Scorpio, yeah, I think there's going to be some big lines drawn in the sand with relationships in the next 10 days. Venus... I think it's going to be the Mars and Pluto that kind of defines it, and people really see what they want and what they don't want. There's also a Libra transit, of course, and Libra is getting near the end in the next 2 weeks, right? So I'd say this next 10 to 12 days is going to be the peak of relationship aspects, and then Scorpio kind of is going to be a little bit different. How much faith do I put in WikiLeaks info? To be honest, don't put any. I mean, I haven't actually sat and looked through the information, so I can't say that I can put faith in it, that it's all good or not. I assume they're doing good things. Seems like they're doing illegal things to get the information. I mean, I'm all about information getting out there, so I'm somebody who, I'm North Node Gemini. You get the information out there and I'm down, And if it's going to bring up some shit that needs to be seen, I'm down for that too. But that one conference that just happened with that dude lately, where it looked like he was going to announce some stuff, and really it was just to promote his book. I mean, some people might say I do kind of stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, I still try and leave it with something. He didn't leave us with nothing. Nothing. If you want to know what Gary Johnson's chart looks like, go to my YouTube and go to my Astro Buzz. And I actually did his chart, and I already talked about him on an episode. Not a winner, I don't think. Sorry. And I think personally, with separating from the astrology, I think he's stoned 24/7. I think he's stoned when he goes on television too. I think he would be stoned in the White House. I think there'd be a war and then he'd be like, what's going on? There's something happening? I did do Jill Stein's chart. I did not do an Astro Buzz with it though. Because unfortunately, to be quite honest with you, just based off the polls, she's got 2% of the polls. I didn't even think it was, really worth talking about, even though I know a lot of people are all about her and I've seen a lot of her stuff. I just didn't think it was that necessary. Do you have any advice for some of us hard evidence that we need to grow spiritually? I need some more good hard facts I can read. Do you have any advice for us for some hard evidence that we need to grow spiritually? I think the hardest evidence is that you're alive. So you're always going to be growing spiritually. I don't care what day of the week it is, what month it is, what anything is. You know what that means? You're growing spiritually. You are never at your perfect place. You are never at perfect enlightenment. You are never at holier than anybody else. You are never at... We are all humans. We are all figuring shit out. We are all not perfect. We are all not, so I think that's the best hard evidence I can give you, is that at the end of the day, that's the hard evidence. You're alive. You're still learning. There's still spiritual things that you're going through. Hope that one helps. And what were you talking about, Rusty? Rusty just said, seriously, at this time, are you talking about being alive? I think that the energy now is, more serious than ever. Huh, Rusty? I mean, it's pretty crazy. Or are you talking about the Cubs? How does one turn dark thoughts, please? So I went through this one through Saturn and Scorpio because I have that in my third house in my chart, and my Saturn return was in my third. So if anybody has had to deal with dark thoughts and bring them to light, it's been the Leo King. Number one, you have to be willing to even accept and understand what a dark thought is and know what it is and look at it from a non-biased point of view and realize that thoughts are thoughts, and I always like to do this with people, right? Hold on one sec. Or actually, you know what's so funny is they finally switched this, but I don't know. Siri, how many thoughts are in one day?
Checking on that. Here's what I found on the web for how many thoughts are in one day.
Siri's rolling for me on my new Mac. There are 50,000 thoughts standing between you and your partner every day. So, if that's any surprise, that's over 100,000 thoughts between two people. Now, imagine if you run into a room full of 10 people, you're dealing with 1 million to 500,000 thoughts a day. So, the thing about dark thoughts, okay, is you need to realize that, and I know people say that you can control your thoughts, but that's nearly impossible, okay? Like, I can't control when I think about something, it just pops in our head. The Hindus believed completely that there is this higher dimensional force, that's what the crown chakra, and that it will actually direct thoughts into our head. I'm a big believer that thoughts can be processed in our head. Now they can come from dark side and they can come from positive side. You have to look that a thought's a thought. That's why Mercury is not ruled as a male or a female. It is a neither. And thoughts are neither male nor female. And so you've got to realize that you've got to look at your thoughts. And if it's dark, once you've made that determination, not get hard on yourself, not think that that's wrong, but know the difference between what a positive and a negative thought is, and realize, maybe you're going through a cycle in your life where you're deleting thoughts. And sometimes when you delete the crap in your life, of thoughts and experience and emotion, it comes up. Our human brain doesn't have a trash or a recycle bin like a computer, right? It's not like you just can go, all those thoughts, let's just throw them away and they'll disappear. Well, when you want to have dark thoughts be gone, usually they come up and you have to watch them come up and leave. So sometimes maybe realize that your dark thoughts are really just more like the past and your old thoughts finding a way to come up, and you're just the witness experiencing them, and to not attach to them as they are leaving your body. That one took a little bit of time to get out, but I thought that was kind of cool. The Aries full moon I'm going to talk about in tomorrow's Uncut, so I'm not going to go into that today. I know the eclipse energy is over now, but is there a strong Neptune transit at the moment? Feels like a lot of trickster energy and fog. Yes, Kate, the Neptune energy is extremely strong right now. The reason why it's so strong is because of the fact that Neptune is not only starting its beginning stop, it's beginning its stopping position as it's about to go stationary here in the next, I forgot exactly how many weeks, but it's coming to its stopping position. But the south node as well is on top of it while it's going to station. So this is the most extreme Neptune trickster energy we will have for a long time, especially as Neptune is in its natural house and it's in its natural placement. So I think that's very important. Now, don't let that, get to you or anything. Now, if we look at the astrology, and we get back to now, you can see that this south node is exactly on Neptune. I mean, Neptune's 9 degrees, south node's hanging at 10, 11, 9. It's going to be there all the way through the middle to end of November completely. So this thing is not going away, you know. It's going to get stronger as Neptune stops in the next month, too. So I think that was an excellent question to bring up. Now, I'm going to take one more question, and then I just want to bring up, somebody asked me to speak about Jupiter. I don't know really what to tell you about Jupiter, except that Jupiter's in Libra. I talked about it in the Uncuts, and Jupiter is about to kind of be in a decent place until it starts to square Pluto. And we'll talk about that more. But for right now, Jupiter and Mercury just conjuncted. I mean, it's a fast transit. It's not very big. It's just, woo, a big flash of light, a big scene in the future, you seeing where you want to go, where you don't want to go. But Jupiter's not, huge to talk about, I would say, at the moment. Somebody wrote, I wanted to double check that I didn't miss a 15-minute reading. No, and I'm not emailing the readings anymore. If you've gotten all the thing, I'm doing them one by one on the phone or Skype. So email me, because I'm emailing people once I get up to you, and then I actually give you live on the phone with me. So I hope that answers your question about that. I'm almost near the end of those. To be honest, I'm never doing that again. Too many people got too many readings. Okay, so this is what I'm going to just give you before I go here on the last things I'm doing about my app and stuff. So a lot of you have heard the Uncut will be moving to the app once the new apps have been done. So there's no exact time. Right now, with my developers, it's looking around 3 weeks. So there's 3 more weeks of Uncut's going to be on YouTube and Facebook and so forth. But what's going to happen is now my YouTube channel is going to, of course, be broadcasting all these live shows that I do. But I'm going to be doing more spiritual talk stuff. Stuff that branches off of astrology, goes into different subjects, and more talking on the spiritual side of life that I want to. But when it comes to horoscopes, when it comes to really about understanding what's going on in life and knowing the cosmos and being with you every day and transforming your life and going through your sun sign and doing all that, that's going to be on my alerts and so forth, because I believe the horoscope world does much better in its own entity than on YouTube, personally. And I've given YouTube 5 years coming up in April of horoscopes, and so that's going to be all in the app now. But my YouTube's not going anywhere. My live fate, and I'm focusing on live. More talks like this, bringing up the Cubs, looking up the astrology. So it's not like me as an astrologer is going anywhere on YouTube. Just those really deep, really powerful horoscopes that are wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, take care of you and change your life, I believe should be on a whole separate platform where I can monetize and I can make money for doing that. I think they're worth it. So that's just where it's at. Everybody that's not on the app that's left, those 20, 30,000 people that are hanging around watching it on YouTube haven't joined the app, where the other half are on the app. So this is just my way of getting everybody on there and moving on to more of the Leo King live and moving into my spiritual dance music more and moving into more spiritual talks about the universe and aliens and other subjects and so forth, which the app people will also get and get more exclusive stuff. But of course, my YouTube will still be getting that. It'll get all my lectures. It'll get whenever I do special talks. So my YouTube's going nowhere. Definitely there's going to be stuff every week, even maybe more stuff than there is now. But the Uncut's moving off. All my horoscopes are moving. And my app as well is now going to have more than just me. Now, of course, all my horoscopes will be there and so forth. But for people who want more and want to hear different points of view and hear different kind of tarot or maybe a different kind of psychic view, I'm actually starting auditions next week, and I already have 40 people that I'm auditioning. So we're auditioning to put people on the app who want to make money, who want to have an affiliate link, put their video on YouTube with affiliate link, and get people from their YouTubes to come onto the app and watch them and watch their horoscope or watch their spiritual modality. That's what I'm moving on to make it much more of a spiritual network and to compete with things like Gaia TV and so forth, because I think that it could be done way more intensely, way better. And the problem with Gaia TV is their app is horrible. Go read their reviews, and they don't do horoscopes that great. And they do some really good documentaries, though. I saw one recently that I thought was really cool. But I want to focus more on intense stuff. So that's really where the app's going. I know I did another video a couple days ago. Go read some of the comments. There's some people on there that just freaking hate me. But, that's just life. But that's where things are going. That's how the app's going. And anyways, that's what I wanted to say tonight. It's coming up to the hour position. I guess I'll take a couple more questions before I go. I have to actually record a DJ mix tonight that's coming out. But I will get to your last questions here. Let's see what we got here. All right. If you want to apply to become an affiliate, just email me info@theleoking.com. I will be putting an audition poster and video out in the next week. Somebody asked me to take my shirt off. No, I will not take my shirt off. I can't tell you what I see for your health and money without looking at your chart and doing a full reading with you. I'm so sorry about that. Somebody said, I'm bummed you're not going to talk about Scorpio forecasts. I don't get that. I've been talking about Scorpio forecasts every week for 2 years, since July 26, 2014 on my app. For 2.5 years. Every week. I've never missed a week. We're on like 100 Scorpio forecasts. The name of the app is The Leo King, or you can just go to theleokingapp.com and you'll get access to not only the website, if you want to log into the website, but also the Android or the Apple app. Did I ever say anything about hurricanes? I said that I think the hurricane could have been way worse for America. Somebody on my YouTube hates me and tried to say that I thought this thing was going to be nothing. I mean, maybe I put it that way, I'll admit. But what I meant was that the astrology could have been way worse based off the timing for America, like it was in Haiti. And America got lucky. Now, I saw that there was horrible flooding in the Carolinas and that there are lots of people who have died. But, I mean, we're talking about based off how Mercury got out of Virgo at the edge of its shadow period and went into Libra, saved America from going through hundreds, maybe thousands of deaths and hundreds of millions or billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. Like, we're talking about devastation. And that's what I was trying to say. I think it was an intense square through the weekend, and then we saw it through the debate with Hillary Clinton and stuff. That was a big debate. It was the same hurricane that came through. I think that debate represented the hurricane pretty well. Oh, you know what? Somebody brought up my October horoscope. So I didn't do it this month. One thing that I want to do free on YouTube still, and of course I'm going to do like an official video and bring all this stuff out, but this is all the preliminary stuff, is I want to do a monthly intuitive forecast. Now, it won't have my astrology. That'll be what you buy and get on the app. But I want to do a more spiritual channeled monthly horoscope energy forecast on YouTube. That'll be what I give people for free. Now, instead of the uncut that's a week, it'll just be like a quick, here's my intuitive gut feeling about this month based off my guides and my angels. I do a weekly one already on the app if you didn't know. Somebody says it was a fake storm. Somebody also says that we got very lucky. Your prediction was 100% accurate. I know it's bad, but if you guys could go on YouTube, there's some dude hating on me. And looking at that talk, gosh. I actually feel horrible for Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Melania Trump, all those people that do that crap, because they got to deal with negativity all day long. In the last week, I have never been hit with more negativity ever. Never. But you know what? In my life, I've been blessed with a lot of positive. And a lot of people don't know my private life. You would think that I talk about my whole private life. I don't. And if you only knew the things that went on in my family this last month, and while I was doing my event in certain circumstances, people have no idea. So when we're all going through tough times, but one thing about doing this is, I got to deal with a lot of hate, especially pushing astrology. There's a lot of people who don't believe in it, and a lot of people who think it's all BS. And I got to put up that safety shield. It's not easy, especially on YouTube. That's one of the reasons why I'm moving horoscopes fully on the app, is because YouTube is, I'm going to be honest, just a cesspool of shit. And the other reason why I'm moving off YouTube is I believe that it's, and I said this on my last live show last night. I don't think YouTube is dead. I think it's peaked out, which means it's dead. I think that people are, it's just oversaturated. Way too many people. There's too many readers. There's too many. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like I type in astrology horoscope now, and it's like there's literally 600 horoscopes a week. It's like it's like wow, and they all are just sitting in front of their computer in a desk, Yeah, people hate change, Rusty. I know that one. So anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. I got to do some music. I love you all so much. I appreciate you for supporting me here on the Leo King channel here on my Facebook, on my app. You can get the app at theleokingapp.com. I'll actually do a real cool one more commercial for it. I appreciate all your support. Thank you for joining me in the chat room tonight. It was fun. Cosmic Watch is what the app was that I used to do that cool looking at the astrology. Thanks for all your support. I do want to start getting people to become interviewed on these live shows, but I'm really going to be picky about who that's going to be, because I have the ability to interview people. That's why I even have this whole side, so I can turn over and look over, and then you guys will be able to actually see the video as I have conversations with people. But I'm not going to do that until I find the right people, and I think that the people who are going to be interviewed are going to be people exclusive that will be on the Leo King app and stuff. So if you want to be part of the app and you want to be part of the affiliate and you want to be a character or persona on my app, let me know at info@theleoking.com. Thanks so much for all the support. I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate you. It was good to see you guys all in the chat. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. And did the Cubs win? Will somebody let me know real quick? I'm gonna hold on. Let me check. Oh no, the Cubs are not winning right now. They're losing. Yeah, the Giants came through and started making some hits. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see if the Cubs do it next year with the late Saturn return and with Pluto directly opposed to Uranus. Maybe this year is just, I don't know. We'll see. It's always a crapshoot with that stuff. Anyway, thanks so much for all the support, and I will see you guys later.
Wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.